Okay, this is the second lecture for today out of 3. This is an introduction to the course that you'll be doing. So any course specific questions or anything like that, we will be discussing here. Okay, so we will be talking about the course, about the lecturer, which is right now me, but in the future you may have other lecturers. Especially in Unity 3D, because I don't have that much experience. I've done just a couple of games, and Unity has a lot of options in there to make games. 2D, 3D shaders, especially with the new Unity 5. You would need some kind of more experienced developer than me. Okay, so then we will talk about modules overview, how to study and what to expect from the course. Some of the things I've already mentioned, but I like to repeat them so that there are no people confused or anything like that. So this course is free. It's highly competitive because there were 230 people on the test. We were only expecting about 50. So yeah, quite a lot of them, and in fact those that are here did extremely well on the test. So yeah. You do not need any programming language. Knowledge. I did that mistake yesterday as well. Yes, this course is for beginners, and we'll be getting up to a level where you have enough experience and knowledge to make your own games. So this is the main idea of the course. Start from scratch, and then get to a level where you can make your own games. Which is the next point that I mentioned actually. So yeah, two times a week from 6:30. So this lecture is at 7 o'clock just by accident, just because there isn't that much to talk about on the first lecture. It's basic stuff. We'll cover them quickly. Yes. Why? Sorry. Why did? Why did it continue? Because there were a lot of questions, and I don't mind questions, but just three lectures in about 3 hours. That means the material that we are gonna cover is not that much. Anyways, and also I like to talk a lot, so this is another reason. The guys yesterday did not get my jokes, but you're doing well. I like this group better. So yeah. 2 times a week from 6:30 to 9:30, sometimes later. If you have to leave early, that is fine. You can watch the rest of the lecture online. But yeah, so we have a lot to cover, and please bear in mind that we start from scratch, and we are in about 6-7 months you'll be able to make a game. So that's a lot of things to cover. And 2 times a week for 3 hours, I think 3 to 4 hours is acceptable. There will be an additional workshop on Saturday from 11 to 1 o'clock. There won't be one this week because there won't be much to help with in the first place. But after that, how many of you are thinking of coming on Saturday? Okay, enough to make a group, because the other group, there weren't that many as well. So yeah. The workshop is going to be not a lecture. We are actually going to solve problems. So if any of you have any problems or any questions, we're going to try to discuss them together. Because your question may be some really difficult, hard question that requires not just my knowledge, but the knowledge of everyone, and maybe Google as well. So okay, so successful candidates can start working here. And I really want to stress again that this is not the main idea of this course. And if you want to work somewhere else, or if you don't want to work at all, that's absolutely fine with us. So yeah. Okay, a little bit about me. It's going to be a little bit. My name is Martin Antonov. I'm co-founder and game designer at Fractal Games. I talked about this project a little bit earlier. I founded two other companies which deal with skill toys, yo-yo, staff, poi, and other things some of you may have never heard in their life. So yeah, the first one was sold, and the second one is a new project which is just starting. So not much to say there. I graduated mathematics at the University of Warwick. I was a teacher the year after I graduated in a school in Sofia, teaching maths and English. And the previous year I studied at the Telerik Software Academy in Sofia, where I did reasonably well. But since it's more, you know, about web in there, and I liked games, we had many games as projects, so that's what I liked. So I kind of transferred into game development and currently design. So yeah, I like tennis, yo-yos, computer games, Dota. Anyone likes Dota?
Try League of Legends.
Okay, anyone likes League of Legends? And we are again more. Yesterday we were more as well. I'm very sorry. Then snowboard, billiards, pool, table football, and all kinds of other stuff. So if you're into those stuff and you have free time and you want to have a game at anything, let me know. I'll try my best to beat you. So yeah. Does anyone play tennis? Okay. You play table tennis. That's not tennis. That's table tennis. Okay. Yeah, but we can play table tennis as well. I can play a bit. So I can honestly say that I'm the best tennis player in this room. So I feel very nice about myself. Yes, but I'm also the best. Did I say anything wrong? It's not a big overconfidence. Well, if no one is playing tennis and I've been playing for 15 years, then it's probably a safe assumption I am the best player in the room. So overconfidence is, you know, a bit far-fetched. So yeah, but yeah, thank you. I'll try not to. I didn't say that I can beat the gentleman in table tennis. So, you know, I know my limits. Okay. So not to get things confused, although I'm sure that I'll be confusing especially these things a lot. So the whole thing from Noob to Game Dev, it's a course. And it's going to be separated into 5 different modules. So from now on, I really try to talk about modules when I'm trying to refer one of these. So we start with Intro to Programming with Games. What is different here from, you know, what you've done at school probably, or other similar academies or anything, that will be really focusing on games at the end of this first course. So we'll be covering the basics there, but at the end there will be I think 4 games that I'll write in lectures, and there will be, you will have a team project which is going to be a game, and you will have an exam which is also going to be a game. So straight from the first course, you know, to get your interest, we'll start with that. Object-oriented programming and quality code. This is probably the hardest, I would say, in terms of, you know, what you have to know and what you have to study. It's a bit more theoretical, so this is probably going to be the hardest course for you. Introduction to JavaScript. So this is a bit of introduction to web development, because we will need that later. So HTML5, CSS, a little bit of JavaScript. Probably make a couple of demos with Canvas, just to take you to the next course. So Phaser, making a game with Phaser, and TypeScript. So TypeScript is, first let me start with JavaScript. JavaScript is a horrible language to write on. You know, I don't want to say any, you know, swear words at it, but it's really bad. So coming from a good language like C++, C#, or any other that I cannot think of right now, going into JavaScript can be, you know, a bit tedious. But we are going to be doing only a little bit of it, just, you know, to get the idea how bad it is. And then TypeScript is something which makes JavaScript better. Not much better, but, you know, when comparing to JavaScript, it's not very hard, you know, to up your game. So yeah, right. So for the 4th course, I'll be talking in a bit more detail in a second, because this is where, you know, the cool stuff begin, and we have a lot of surprises for you. Some of them I'll say today, some of them I'll be saying when the course starts. Introduction to Unity 3D and algorithms. So now that you're hooked up and you've made some nice games, and we've published them on the store, maybe some of them, we're gonna get into the deep water. So algorithm is algorithms is something that every developer has to study. This is the hardest topic, and that's why we leave it at the end. So you're hooked up, you've made a couple of games, and then we bring you back a little with something which is really hard. So, and then Unity 3D, you know, kind of to shape up the course. It's something that many companies use today. Unity 3D is in a very active development. So Unity 5 came up maybe a month ago, a couple of weeks ago. Is anyone following that? How long was it? A month, maybe? A month ago. So Unity 5 was updated a month ago. And you may ask yourselves, why are we doing phaser when there is such a cool thing as Unity 3D? Does anyone know first? The answer, why are we going to be bothering with something else when Unity 3D is really that good and that interesting? Any takers? Yes and no. This is not the reason. Phaser is a little bit simpler, but if you're making complicated game with phaser, it can be done maybe a lot more easily with Unity 3D. And phaser does not support 3D games as well for now. So yes. What is phaser? Phaser is a JavaScript library / engine for making games, making web games. So I have given you the answer. So Unity 3D right now is very bad for web because you either have to have SVG on your browser, or you have to install the Unity plugin, which nobody really installs. So there was statistics about it. There was a very large project made with Unity, which was for the web, and I think about 1% of the users who visited the website actually installed the plugin and the game ran for them. So it's not a good idea to make anyone to install, you know, additional things to play your game. So this is why we'll be doing phaser. Yes. Sorry? In the Flash player? Yes, but you couldn't do anything without Flash in the old days, so you had to install it at some point or another. Like if you wanted to watch a stream game online without paying or anything like that, it kind of forces you at one point to install it. Whereas with Unity, people know, like developers know, and they don't put web games made with Unity just because of that. So they have to make some massive campaign. Please install our plugin or else. So yeah, it's phaser on the other hand makes HTML5 games, which are available on absolutely any device you can think of, which can run a browser, even on your smart TV. So you can freely make a game that will be absolutely the same on your TV, on your laptop, on your Xbox, PlayStation, just anywhere that you want. So this is the advantage of phaser. But once Unity 3D they make it possible, I don't know if that's going to be possible in the future. I know that they're working on it. If they manage to make a proper HTML5 render, then phaser and many other engines will become obsolete. Okay, in a bit more detail, this is what we're going to be doing with the course 1, basic stuff for those of you who have studied. This course in general is not really hard, but 2 of the lectures are a bit harder. And if you have never seen programming before, then you might need to work a little bit more. So, introduction to programming, this is the lecture that we'll be doing today. Primitive data types a bit later on. Operators and expressions, console input and output, conditional statements. So this is if, else if, and then we have switch case, loops, for loop, while loop, do while loop. What was that? The other one that nobody uses. Go to. Have you heard of that one? Yeah. Have you used it? Yeah. Really bad. Really bad. There is a whole lecture by a very famous computer scientist and mathematician that said you should not ever use go to. But yeah, anyway, so we'll be just mentioning it probably in a second. So loops, arrays is probably the one harder lecture, not because the content of it is hard, but because the questions that may arise and the problems mathematically can be a little bit hard. So your homework on that one will be a little bit longer and it will take a bit more time. Multi-dimensional arrays. So this is, you know, similar as a concept to arrays, but you have more dimensions, obviously. So imagine multi-dimensional array is a matrix if you know maths, or if you don't know maths, imagine it as an Excel table filled with information. Strings is the second harder lecture, probably not as hard as arrays, but again there are many properties, many problems with strings that we are gonna cover here. Methods. Method is something which is quite easy, but is gonna make your code look better. Then we have introduction to classes and objects. This serves as an introduction to object-oriented programming. We'll not be using it. We'll be just mentioning some of the basics of it, so that you know we can transfer into the next course a little bit easier. And then 12. I say 12 not because it's going to be all in one lecture, but we'll be making some games. So Hangman is an easy one. Snake, a little bit harder, not that much. Falling Rocks is fun in the sense that you can add a lot of things to the game, which will be given as a homework. So you can add something like high score, difficulty, levels, and so on. And then I really wanted to make a game that is not 20 years old, and probably your parents have played it 20 years ago. So I will try, and I'm pretty sure that I'll be able to make 2048 as a console game. By console game, I don't mean Xbox or PlayStation. Console means pretty much this. This is your console, and we'll be making games in here. I know it sounds silly, and it doesn't look that good, but for a game, the most important thing is not how it looks, contrary to what you think, from a developer's point of view. But more about the algorithm that you implement the game with. So the algorithms for all of these will be the same. And if you want to make it graphical, the algorithm is going to be the same. You are just going to need some pictures and so on to make it look better. But for C# and for a beginner's course, we'll be making console games. Object-oriented programming and quality code. Sorry, there was a question. Sorry? Doesn't Switch use GoTo? Maybe in the back scenes, yes. I don't know. Maybe you know a bit more about that. But normally, if you can use a while or a for loop instead of GoTo, then you should never ever use GoTo. And to be honest, using switch case, you don't write anywhere GoTo, so you can tell in your mind that you're not using it. So. Okay, it'll be interesting to see. I'll see that in the break and answer your question because I cannot do so right now. So again, course introduction. This is standard for every course. Defining classes part 1, part 2. This is standard as well. Extension methods, delegates, lambda, dynamic, and link. So do these speak anything to anyone? Do you know what lambda is? Lambda, link? No. So this is gonna be the most awesome lecture of your lives. I promise. The thing that can be done with C# using lambda specifically, and delegates are hard and not that interesting, but lambda, dynamic, and so on, these are really cool. And instead of writing multiple lines of code, you can do a calculation very easily and very quickly as well. Then we have object-oriented programming principles part 1 and 2. This is a very theoretical lecture, and it's probably the most important one if you're planning to go into IT development at all. So anywhere in interviews, people will want you to know these principles. I don't know them by hand. Like, I cannot tell you right now what they are. I think there were 5 of them. But if I have to go to an interview, this will be the first thing to remind myself of the principles of OP. Common type system in .NET, not an interesting lecture, but it illustrates the points made above on the principles of OP. Then we have a short lecture of quality code part 1 and part 2. So we can make a separate course for quality code because this is quite important. How to write your code properly, but because when you work in a large team and everyone writes really badly and someone has to read each other's code, it can be a mess. So quality code, just 2 lectures just with the basic stuff, so that when you're writing your games, you're following some guidelines. For the rest, there is a plugin which is called JustCop, which you can put into Visual Studio, and it's gonna tell you every single thing that you're doing wrong. Okay, and 10, it's not a separate lecture. We'll be making a game throughout the course, which is a little bit larger. I'm thinking about Monopoly. It's again gonna be for the console, but the logic and everything behind it is gonna be absolutely the same. The only difference will be, you will have to have a place to draw your board and your people there, how they're walking and so on. But other than that, will be rolling dice, buying houses, and so on. This is my plan for now, at least. We'll see. That was a question again? You forgot. Okay, write them down next time you have your laptop. So modules overview. Okay, so this is the third one. I explained a lot about it. So basic introduction to web development. The last lecture is about Canvas. We will either make a very simple game, something like Snake, just to make the transfer from graphical from console to graphical games, but it can be just a short graphical demo of like a ball bouncing or something like that. This course is gonna probably be the easiest one, and it's not gonna affect anyone staying in the academy, meaning because it's not really that important. If you've done courses 1 and 2, then you're probably good enough to cope with this one. It serves just as an introduction to the next course, because we cannot go to the cool stuff without knowing some web. And this is the really nice course that I made. This is what really differentiates us between other academies, in the sense that we'll be making games, but there are other places where they make console games just to demonstrate things. So yeah, Phaser, making games with Phaser and TypeScript. So there will be a lecture here in game designing. This is what I do. This is coming up with an idea about a game that you want to make, or your team wants to make, or say that you work in a company where you have to be the one to come up with some awesome ideas, some awesome games. So this will be a short lecture about that. The next one will be a brainstorming session, meaning that we'll be choosing, me and you, we'll be choosing together a topic for the game that I'll be developing in the lectures later on. So we can come up with some awesome game, and we can become billionaires and so on. We'll see. So interesting that some of you are laughing. Do you think that Flappy Bird is that hard to come up with? It was definitely at the point, but when you look at the game and that the person made $30,000 a day. Yes, it was like, yeah, exactly. So you don't know, maybe we can make the next Flappy Bird, maybe Clappy Bird or something like that. Okay, so yeah, so we'll be choosing a game which we'll then be doing in the lectures. We have to do an introduction to TypeScript lecture, because it's the better version of JavaScript. I said numerous times how much I like JavaScript. So introduction to Phaser. So and the next 2 lectures are just for you to get used to the engine, some basic things, but most of it you learn in the demo. Introduction to Cordova. So Cordova allows us to wrap up the HTML code and publish it for iOS, for Android, and whatever else you want to do, Windows Store. So we need to use this tool to be able to publish our games on the store. Then we have making the game, part 1, part 2, finalizing the game, you know, some final touches, and then we'll be putting it on the store. Additionally, here you have a teamwork project where you have to create your own game, and some of the base games will be selected so that we can put them on the store as well, if they're good. But yes.
I have a question. You said several times that JavaScript is a horrible language.
Yes.
And there are better alternatives. Why are we learning then JavaScript and not the alternative C#, C++?
So we'll be doing, so the first 2 courses are in C#. JavaScript is just, you know, just very briefly, you know, to be able to go on to TypeScript. So the first 2 courses will be in C#, which is a really nice language. Who here has experience with C#? Is it a nice language? Yay. 2 thumbs up I got. Okay. The last one is Introduction to Unity 3D and Algorithms. So this one, again, it's in development right now. I pretty much explained to you what is it gonna be, but I will not be the lecturer for this course. Someone else will do it. But you know, algorithms, and then you get on with Unity, where the course structure will be, I guess, similar, where you have to, you know, start brainstorm a game idea, then someone is gonna make it, and then you will have your team project and so on. But you know, Unity is nice, and also developers are very, very lazy. So meaning, if I have to write 10 lines of code to make an animation, versus, you know, grab all of the pictures and then just drop them somewhere, I would prefer the drag and drop. So yeah, Unity is easier, more powerful, but as we said, it has limitations. Both of these, though, are currently used in our project. So Fractal Games uses Phaser. Casually, you know, the Bellot game that I just showed you uses Phaser as well, and the rest of the projects use Unity 3D. So you know, we are talking about technologies that are currently used and are popular, instead of, you know, at university probably some of you have studied some, you know, IT for business or something like that, where they use Excel 2003 or, you know, Windows XP or something like that. We will not be doing that. That's not our goal. Most courses will be evaluated in the following way: 25% homework, 25% teamwork project, and 50% exam. I really don't like courses where so little credit is given to the homework and teamwork projects, because normally they will take up most of your time. Exams are important, yes, but to learn them you have to, you know, put many hours of homework and project to be able to get to that level. So here, this is the distribution that I believe is good for you. To successfully complete the course, you must not skip lectures, you must present your homework on time, you must participate in teamwork projects, and you must do well on the exams. I'm saying this right now just to make it clear. After the first course, there will probably be only 1 group left. So you have to be in those top 50% to go on to the next group. And those that do, they will probably finish the course as well. So when I was at the Telerik Academy, there were 4,000 people that applied. There were only like 800 that got in, and after the first course, there were only 300 left. By the end, I guess there were probably, you know, 100 or maybe something like that. So yeah, so we'll be cutting people off as well. They are not the only ones who can do it. Okay, so how to study. Again, do your homework, participate in lectures, ask questions, watch the videos online, participate in teamwork, and most importantly, use Google. Okay, I'll be stressing on that a lot. So if someone asks you a question that I don't know the answer of, like yesterday, a couple of your colleagues did, I'm not a machine, and neither should you be as well. Okay, I may not know something, I may know other things. The most important thing for a developer is not to know the facts. What did that function do? How did I do this? And so on. The idea is for you to be able to find it quickly and know how to use it once you do. So this is very different from schools and school competitions, where say when you go to a competition you're not allowed to use the internet. Well, here on your exams you will be allowed to use everything that you have, you know, lectures, videos online, the whole web, just everything that you can use to solve this specific problem, because this is how it works, right? If you're at the workplace, no one is gonna say, well, today you're not gonna be using the internet because, you know, it's bad or something like that. So yeah, this is a key difference for us. So yeah, use Google. First thing on your mind when you're asking yourself a question, not just an IT or programming one, just in general. Okay, timeline 5 to 6 months. I said that could go on more. We will see, but again, by the end we'll be a bit more flexible, and we'll be able to, you know, either increase the tempo or you know, do something else to keep the deadline. But I would assume 6 to 7 months is a good estimate. 2 times a week from 6:30 to 9:30. This group is on Tuesday and Friday for now. The next modules will be very similar as well, if not the same. Optional workshop on Saturday from 11 to 1. I don't know how this is gonna go, if there are gonna be any people in here, but we can, you know, gather and talk about something. You know, maybe we can play games. There is an Xbox at the back, so it's really nice playing on this projector as well. So yes. Sorry? Yeah, what about it? No, I don't. Sorry. I'm very sorry. I only played Dota 2, Super Meat Boy, and The Binding of Isaac. So those are the 3 games that I only play. Sorry? The new one, yes. So these are the only 3 games that I play right now, but in the past I've played, I think I made a list a couple of years ago, and that was some long list. It was about 500 titles in there. So yeah, but right now, you know, I just stick to something which I find interesting. Okay, what to expect from the course. Upon successful completion, you will know the basics of C#, object-oriented programming, quality code, JavaScript, TypeScript, Phaser, and Unity 3D. So anything that you need to actually, you know, start as a junior game dev, or, you know, as a game dev, depending where. So if you actually complete the course here and you would like to start, and you're some of the top students here, then you can probably start as a developer straight away, because this is what we require of the people that are working with us, or the ones that work here know some of these or all of them. You will have made 10 plus games, so this is a solid experience for someone going into the gaming industry as a developer, maybe as a junior. But you know, that's a lot of games. You'll be doing many team projects. You'll be extending the projects that I make in lectures. So this is a lot of experience. And then again, all of your exams will be games as well. So you know, you will have sufficient experience to work as a game developer. I said that. The best or all who complete this course can start working at Zariba Group. Okay, so this all there in brackets means that I do not have a number. Okay, if all of you are good, if all of you, you know, 46 people are really good, and all of you score between 90 and 100% on your first exams, then all of you go on. We will really try hard to find place for all of you. But these projects that I was talking about earlier, they're big, and we require a lot of people there. So there is no maximum, there is no minimum. We can take nobody as well, but we are like very strongly hoping that many of you will you know, finish and get your certificates, which is something that I didn't mention before. Okay, so I have 2 questions. Yes. Yes. Big projects. Making an MMO does not happen with a 10-person team. With a team with 10 people. Yes, we can do that. We are constantly expanding. So this new office behind there where I work in is brand new. This academy also is brand new, so we are not afraid to invest, especially if there are good people behind it. So yes. Question there.
We're going to talk about monetizing and maybe game marketing.
Yes, those will be separate courses which are not included in this one. So yes, maybe in the future there'll be lectures and so on about it. Someone else has to talk about it, of course. So this will be, you know, separate. We are just focused on the game development part. We will be touching a little bit on publishing when we publish our games on the store, but that'll be pretty much it. So no marketing or anything else. So yeah, if you want to do that, you're at the academy, you're at a nice place. So as soon as we have a course like that, you will be one of the first people to know. And we are planning to have those, but that will be in the near future. Any other questions that we've references? So some of the lectures, especially the first 3 courses, will be referenced from the academy Telerik. Their lectures are good. I really thank them for the opportunity to having those. And yeah, that's pretty much it. They'll be a lot shorter because as you know, their lectures are the whole course is, you know, 14 months, and we do not want that. There is no need for it. So there'll be a lot of the things and topics I'll be skipping. Some of them I'll be saying in just a couple of lectures, just to get the idea of. And what's unique is, you know, the 4th and the 5th modules, which are about phaser and unity, and those are the ones that you should really be focused to get to. Questions? Okay, I'm fine with no questions.